Long ago, in the heart of an ancient African kingdom, there lay a village called Ajula. Nestled between rolling green hills and vast whispering forests, the village was a place of peace and harmony. The people of Ajula were hardworking and content, their lives filled with laughter, storytelling, and the rhythm of the seasons. But among them was a man named Jemba, a man whose heart was never at peace. Unlike the others, he was never satisfied with what he had. He desired more wealth, more power, more than life itself could offer. Jemba was a farmer, but his fields were barren, not because of the land, but because of his own laziness. While others tilled the soil and nurtured their crops, Jemba sought shortcuts. He envied the merchants who brought fine cloth and jewelry to the village. He scoffed at the elders who found joy in simple wisdom. To him, wealth was the only measure of a man, and without it, he felt worthless. One evening, under the vast African sky, the villagers gathered beneath the great baobab tree to listen to the elders' stories, as was tradition. The air was thick with the scent of roasting maize, and the soft hum of distant drums echoed in the night. Among the crowd sat an old woman, her face etched with deep lines of time. She was a stranger to the village, her eyes holding the weight of untold secrets. When the time came for stories, the old woman stepped forward. Her voice, though frail, carried an undeniable power. "There exists," she began, "a calabash hidden deep within the forbidden forest. It is no ordinary calabash. It is a vessel of endless riches. Whoever possesses it will never know hunger or poverty." But, she paused, her gaze scanning the entranced faces before her, "it is cursed." A hush fell over the crowd. The children clung to their mothers, and even the bravest hunters exchanged uneasy glances. "The spirits guard it fiercely," she continued. "It is said that those who take from it without caution will suffer a fate worse than death." Jemba, who had been listening in the shadows, leaned forward. His heart pounded with excitement. An endless source of wealth? It was exactly what he had always wanted. The warnings meant nothing to him. All he could think of was gold spilling from his hands, of the respect and admiration he would finally command. That night, while the village slept, Jemba set off. The moon hung high, casting long shadows as he made his way toward the forbidden forest. The journey was treacherous. The trees loomed like silent sentinels, their branches twisting unnaturally. Strange sounds echoed around him, whispers carried by the wind, the rustle of unseen creatures. But Jemba pressed on, driven by greed. After what felt like hours, he stumbled upon a clearing. At its center stood a small, crumbling hut, covered in creeping vines. Inside, illuminated by the eerie glow of fireflies, rested the calabash. It was larger than he had imagined, its golden surface gleaming as if kissed by the sun itself. His hands trembled as he reached for it. As his fingers brushed against its surface, a chilling voice filled the hut. "Take, but never look inside." Jemba spun around, but he was alone. The voice seemed to seep from the very walls, from the air itself. His breath came in short gasps, but his greed was stronger than his fear. He grabbed the calabash and fled into the night. Upon returning to his hut, Jemba wasted no time. He placed the calabash on his mat and with cautious excitement shook it. A single gold coin tumbled out. He gasped. Again he shook it. Another coin appeared, then another, and another. His hut filled with the clinking sound of wealth beyond his wildest dreams. Over the next few days, Jemba's life transformed. He bought the finest robes, adorned himself with gold, and built the grandest hut in the village. The people, once dismissive of him, now spoke his name with reverence. They envied him, respected him. But it wasn't enough. Jemba grew impatient. He wanted more, faster. The calabash gave him wealth, but what if it held more within? What if inside there were diamonds, rubies, treasures beyond his imagining? His curiosity became unbearable. One night when the village was silent, Jemba made his decision. He took a sharp knife and with trembling hands sliced the calabash open. A deafening scream filled his hut. The air grew thick, suffocating. The ground trembled. From the split calabash, black smoke billowed out, twisting and writhing like living shadows. The hut's walls shook violently as ghostly figures emerged, eyes hollow, mouths twisted in eternal anguish. "You were warned," a voice boomed, ancient and merciless. Emba stumbled backward, his riches spilling to the floor. He tried to run, but his legs stiffened, his body growing heavier with each passing second. A cold hand gripped his shoulder, and the last thing he saw was the spirits closing in, their hollow eyes burning into his soul. When morning came, Jemba's hut stood empty. His riches lay untouched, but of Jemba, there was no sign. The villagers whispered of the spirit's wrath, of the cursed Calabash that had claimed another greedy soul. Some said they heard his voice in the wind, a warning to those who would follow in his footsteps. And so, the legend of the cursed Calabash lived on, passed from generation to generation. A tale not just of greed, but of the price one pays for defying the warnings of the ancestors. For in the heart of the forbidden forest, beneath the twisted roots of an ancient tree, the Calabash lay whole once more, waiting for the next foolish soul to claim it.